My name is Jill Rogers, and it's really, really good to be here today to hang out with you guys for a little bit. I am from St. John, and I'm in the process right now of finishing up a Master of Arts degree in International Development Studies. And I've been at Eastern University, which is located just outside of Philadelphia. It is a Christian school. It's the place where Tony Campolo is based. Just to put the program into perspective for you. I had searched for quite a while for a school, a graduate school, that could equip me with the tools that I wanted and the knowledge that I wanted related to international development studies. But I wanted it to be taught, to be viewed through a biblical lens. And I don't know where you guys are at as students in thinking about what's next for you after undergraduate studies, but I'll tell you, it is very difficult to find a university that can provide those two views, international development studies through a biblical lens. So I had looked for several years. There was about an 8-year gap between me finishing my undergraduate studies and then going to do my graduate studies, and I was working for several years in that time, working at the University of New Brunswick actually. And in my position with UNB, I was their representative for Asia. So for about 6 years I lived in China, and I would live there for 3 months, and then come home for 3 months, and then go back there for 3 months, and then come home for 3 months, which, you know, out of undergraduate studies was like, wow, this is a dream, you know, I get to travel and come home and still be connected with my home community. But after about 4 years of that, I just got really tired, and it actually started to affect my health, that constant traveling back and forth, because it just gave me enough time to get settled in the new time zone and start, you know, get into a groove. I hear that a lot of you have traveled, so, you know, it takes about 3 months, right, to really feel like you're part of a community, and then to be uprooted and then brought back home. So I was actually in China, and one evening I was on the computer just, I don't know, looking at random videos and reading documents and just, you know, killing time. I thought, okay, I really feel like it's time to go back to school and take things to the next level. I was raised in a Christian home and taught how to be a Christian. And you know, so much to the point where I didn't even need to read the Bible because, you know, I was told exactly what it looked like to be a Christian. And once I graduated from undergraduate studies and started working, yeah, I just was challenged on so many fronts of what it means to live as a Christian and how to live as a Christian. And so I went through this really, I would say it's a crisis of faith, really, of knowing where my place was in the world and who was God and if God was real and what is God's role in other religions and just all kinds of questions. So that night in China, I really wanted to find an opportunity that would introduce me to ways that I could engage in the world and really understand what it means to be part of the kingdom of God. What does it look like when God's will is done on earth as it is in heaven? Because, you know, being raised in the church that I was raised in, it was mostly about rules and not so much about relationships. So to make a long story short, I ended up at Eastern University at the age of 30. Was by far, 2010, my favorite year yet so far. And I love telling people who are in undergraduate studies that's that, because when I graduated from university, undergrad, it was like, oh my goodness, this is it. You know, it's a make or break now. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with life now that I have this degree, and there's so much pressure. And I don't know if any of you are in that boat right now. You're like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I've got it all figured out. But anyway, I want you to know that it's a journey, and you don't need to know right now, because you know, if you are co-laboring, if you are partnering with God, then you don't have to worry. You just go with it, and it's amazing where God will take you, and if you're obedient. Yeah, just the stories we've heard today of where people end up unexpectedly.